Hello everybody, Janet Urban here, founder of Friends in Film. Welcome to our podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to give you insights that you will not learn anywhere, not in film school, not online, not from anybody. Even people on film sets will not know what I'm teaching you because we have studied how to go very fast into the film industry and create a career out of it. And that is what this podcast is about, and that is what the A-List program is about, which is our main flagship program that all these people all over the world are doing to work in the film industry. So enjoy today's podcast, and thank you so much for listening. All right, so this podcast episode will be probably a good reminder for some of us here. So, I'm a professional in the film industry. I work every week on film sets. Film industry, teaching film is my life. And I get emails from people all day long, hundreds of emails a day. And I wanted to make this podcast episode about some of the worst emails that I get, just to make sure that you're aware of what you're doing when you send an email. All right, so the elements of a good email is that you actually think about what you're writing. So when you write to me, I'm a professional that can hire you, that can refer you, that is very well known in the business. So if you don't think about what you're writing to me, that's not good, because I think about every email that I write to somebody. When I'm emailing a professional, a producer, a production supervisor, a coordinator, or other friends and film people, I'm going to give thought to what I'm putting in that email so that it's clear, that it's concise, and it's well written, and it communicates what I want to communicate in a positive way and in a good way, in something that moves the conversation forward. So that's element number one, is composing your emails. If you are talking to any professional, anybody that you want to make an impression on, compose your emails. They're not for you to be pouring out your life story and making one big long paragraph of everything that's going on in your head. So I know most of us wouldn't do this, but I will serve as a reminder here for you. If you're like, oh, I have done that before, okay, don't do that. Because you're always representing yourself as a professional. Somebody literally makes an impression on you when they get any communication from you or when they meet you in person. But in the case of email, they get an email from you and they're going to make an impression. Is that the impression that you want to give? Make sure that what you email them is the impression that you want to give. So therefore, don't use your voice recognition to just go in your phone to just write this one big long paragraph that's pouring out your thoughts. And if you do that, then make sure you go back and edit it and make sure that it's perfect. Okay, so first thing is put thought behind it. Second thing is make sure that your emails are perfect, meaning they have perfect punctuation, perfect spelling, and that each paragraph is its own subject. So if it's professional, it's professional. If you're trying to make an impression, then make an impression. So I'll get emails with no punctuation, and I'll tell them, hey, if you're going to email a professional, then have punctuation. I'll get an email back, again, no punctuation. And then I'll say, oh, sorry, I'm going to remove you from my list. And then they say, oh, wow, well, I was just going to buy your program. And then I say back to them, well, sorry, you are not allowed to buy my program because you are emailing me without proper punctuation and spelling. And I know that you're not going to make it with the way that I teach to get in the film industry. You're not going to make it that way, because what needs to happen in the film industry is you need to represent yourself as a professional in all ways, in all the different ways, meaning through email, through your resume, through your post on social media. But the most important thing is through your communication, because in the film industry, you are talking to people. You're communicating with people. You're a professional. This is work to be done out there, film sets. So this is a professional environment, and how things get done is through communication. So you have to be having good communication, well thought out sentences, good punctuation, and perfect spelling. If you don't have perfect spelling, if English is not your first language, what should you do? Should you just give up? No, you should not give up. What you should do is you should have somebody that you pay to go over every single email. Yes, have somebody that you pay at least $5 per email to look over it and add any punctuation in there and correct any misspelling that needs to be done, and to maybe even help you compose the email. So you might say, well, I can't afford to do that. No, you can't afford not to do that. If you want your career in the business, you have to make a good impression. People have to trust you, and they have to believe that you're at a certain level in order to be trusted. That means you need to be able to express yourself professionally in an email. How can I give responsibility to you on a film set if you can't even write an email? If you think that it's appropriate to write an email with big, long paragraph and all of the subjects all tumbled together with no punctuation and spelling, how can I trust that you're going to make the right decision picking up the director at the airport? How can I know that you can be trusted in solving any problem on set? Why would I want to work with you when you haven't even taken the time to represent yourself professionally? So that's why I will not allow people in my program that are not nice, that don't have good punctuation and spelling. And if it's not your first language, you got to tell me that, and then I will understand that. And I'll know that when you're personally emailing me, that's all right. But I'll tell every single person that signs up for my programs, my paid programs, that you have to have somebody that's in your back pocket that you pay to check every single email. Because this is an impression-based business, and people will make quick assessments on you. And if they don't think that you're capable, then they're not going to hire you. And that one connection, that you have a misspelled word or you forget the paragraph, they think you're sloppy, and then you lose $1 million. I'm not kidding. That's exactly the truth. One person that says, I don't know, there's better people, and then calls somebody else, and you could have worked with them, and that would have gotten you connected to other people that would have referred you, and you would have had this whole thing going. But you didn't give it the importance that it is. Your communication that comes from you to somebody else you thought was no big deal. And that, oh yeah, well, they know that I'm using my voice recognition. You may find some professionals email you and maybe they don't have correct punctuation. They almost always have correct spelling, almost always. But sometimes I see no punctuation. And maybe the sentence is just super short. That's typically the case. They're just like, did a quick voice recognition and then that was it. And sometimes you'll get some of these but that's very rare. Usually, people don't do that because they know that this is a professional business and they're not going to make me try to figure out what they're trying to say. They're going to be very clear because this is what they're paid right now. All their communication with me, they are working on a job. That's why we're communicating. So there has to be clear communication and it has to be done at the professional level. So they understand that and they operate at that level. All right, so if sometimes I get an email that doesn't have punctuation, that might be from a producer, oh, here's the music, maybe no punctuation, that's fine because I know that they are probably having a conversation right now on set with other people and I might have texted them and they're responding, getting me that information back, and that's the communication. So it's fine because I need that information and they're giving it to me. And that's more important at that moment than making sure that that email is perfect. So I really want you to understand this. I really want you to be successful. I really just want people to understand all these little details so they don't shoot themselves in the foot before they've even started with these most valuable relationships that could be, your entire career. That can be what gets you started. And so many people are just not aware that when you're starting, you're talking to people sometimes through email, through text messages, and give it the importance that it is. This is you representing yourself professionally, even though it seems like it's casual, not a big deal. It is, because this is how you are rolling and how you are representing yourself as a professional. All right, thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope that this is very helpful for you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. And if you want to take your career to the next level in the film industry, go to friendsinfilm.com/join. That's friendsinfilm.com/join. You can sign up for our mini course, learn about the A-list model, and then you can take it all the way and do the A-list program. So that's friendsinfilm.com/join. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, everybody.